Hello everyone, and welcome to this month's episode of What's for Dinner. On this month's episode, I'll be making a very simple recipe of chicken Alfredo with penne pasta. Let's get cooking. So to start off this recipe, you're going to want to get a saucepan like this and 2 tablespoons of butter. You're going to start melting the butter in the pan, like so. You probably can't see it from there. Turn this up a little bit. Then you're going to add 1.5 pounds of diced chicken breasts, and then about a half teaspoon each of salt, pepper, oregano, and basil. So once the butter is all melted, which might take a while, 2 tablespoons doesn't seem like a lot, but it is when it's a giant hunk like this. Okay, so once your 2 tablespoons of butter is completely melted, which it just about is, you're going to go ahead and add your 1.5 pounds of chicken breasts. And then I'm just going to shake these spices in. I'm not going to do any distinct measurements. So you want about a half teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon of black pepper, half teaspoon of oregano, and then a half teaspoon of basil. And then what you're pretty much going to do is just get the chicken all cooked thoroughly. You're going to remove it from the pan and then set it off to the side. And then once you set it off to the side, you're going to bring the pan back to work on the next part. So let's get this chicken cooked, and then we'll move on to the next part. Okay, the chicken has finished. It took a little longer than I thought it would, but the chicken is done. It's out of the pan and off the side. The next thing we're going to do is make the Alfredo sauce. Alright, so we're putting in another 2 tablespoons of butter in the pan. We haven't cleaned it. The chicken residue is still in here. Once we melt this 2 tablespoons of butter, we're going to add 4 cloves of minced garlic, which is about 2 teaspoons. I think there's just enough this container. I think that's about all the garlic I'm going to get out of there. Alright, shush that around here. And then you're going to gradually add 3 tablespoons of flour. Once you've done that, you're going to add, again, slowly, 2 cups of milk. The idea is to get this into a nice, creamy Alfredo sauce. Right now, the flour mixture is just lumped together. Then you're going to add the equivalent of the same amount of spices you put in with the chicken. A half teaspoon of pepper, salt, basil, and oregano. Salt. Pepper. Oregano. Basil. The idea is you want to let this simmer, boil, whatever you want to call it, until it gets to a thickness where when you take your spatula like this down, it slowly moves itself back together. I'm going to let this work its way to doing that, and then we're going to add a half cup of Parmesan here in a moment while this thing continues to boil. Okay, it's boiling, so we're going to add some Parmesan, about a half cup. I think this bag is... Usually it says. Well, it doesn't. I'm going to turn this down a bit. This is cooking a little bit quicker than I thought it would. A little more. And incorporate that in. Now, I said that this was a chicken Alfredo recipe with penne pasta. I've already boiled the penne. It's in a pot off to the side over here. I'm going to bring that on in a second once this is done. We're going to pour all of this sauce on top of the penne, add the chicken, and then really just mix it up. And that's pretty much it. All right, I'm liking how this sauce looks. Honestly, it looks like gravy. It doesn't look like Alfredo, but it looks like everything is pretty well incorporated. I'm scraping it down, and it's flowing back together nice and slowly. So I'm going to say with a bout of confidence that we're ready to go here. Let me turn this to low. I'm going to clean up here, and I'll be back with the penne, the chicken, throw it all together, mix it together, and we have our meal. All right, it's time to mix everything together. So here's the penne. Good, delicious whole grain penne. We're going to dump all of this in. It's about good. Next, we're going to dump the chicken in. Give it a little mix. The penne's been sitting out for a bit. There we go. And then we're going to add a little bit of parsley. About a quarter cup. I'm just going to do a little pour like this. It's pretty. And then another quarter cup or so of Parmesan on top. We continue to mix it together. And we have a beautiful pot of rather easy chicken Alfredo with penne pasta. So with that, I'm going to plate this up and I'll try it for you. I mean, that's literally what I do on this show. I plate up food after I've made it and then I eat it for you on camera. That's literally what this show, I'm just going to do it. Well, here it is, chicken Alfredo with penne pasta. I'm very excited to try this. Let's see how it tastes here. So simple and so good. You want a classic chicken Alfredo taste? This is it right here. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of What's for Dinner. If you have any recipes that you would like me to make on camera, leave them below in comments and I'll check them out. Until next time, take care, God bless, I'll see you later.